Good morning, everyone. Welcome to American Scousers Morning Coffee or Tea with American Scouser on a Wednesday morning. Back to being the greatest dad and all in action. John is back here. What's happening?
Trying to maintain another new streak of consecutive appearances. Still can't shake off that injury prone label. I don't think, fingers crossed that it's going to be broken anytime soon. I'm looking to get into a solid streak here. So happy to be here, right?
Yeah, and
Uh,
we're hoping like eventually. I know he finalized the move finally. Um, Gordo. But
nice.
a lot of unpacking and a lot of all that stuff. I think he should be there finally. They were like, I mean, I can't imagine moving to another city at this stage. Just way too much crap to move. So, which is one reason when I went. Sergi, the Polish Prince, Alan in the comments. Good morning to everybody. Lot to talk about.
Right.
And it's a lot of drama, some weird love triangles of strikers going on and stuff. Let's start with that because it seems to be the hottest topic, especially with us. The headline that you just put by, I mean, it is coming from Mike Ornstein that
Yeah,
we
it's
put in a
right.
we contacted Eintracht Frankfurt over possible move for Ekitike, who is being tracked and trying to be signed by Newcastle, who has Isak that would like to sign, and we would be interested if he's available. We would offer him 120 if he was in the market and stuff. So Shorzy says we've become the new bullies of the Premier League. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
basically us saying, "Oh, okay, then we'll just get him over there."
Right.
So it puts Newcastle in a weird situation
Right.
because they got if they don't do the Kitike deal and get Isak's replacements, they can sell Isak, but they will eventually lose Isak.
Because yes, of his
So
contract.
yeah, so where do you think is this going to be just us kind of like bullying and more than bullying, I feel like we're kind of rushing their process. We're like, okay, you got to do this now. You can't just take 3 weeks to sign a Kitike and come to us in August and be like, hey, you guys still want Isak? Because
Bullying is the crude term for it. I see it as more of analyzing the market and then just taking advantage of a situation,
God,
right? Like
you've become such a businessman over the
right,
last
right.
couple of
Like a
years.
big like the business term. Like obviously like Edwards and Co and Richard Hughes would go like we're not bullying. Like this is a situation that's presenting itself and we're simply taking advantage of it, right? And the fact that basically Newcastle they basically penned themselves into a wall here with Isak's contract and them having to find the replacement. It's so unfortunate, right? That their replacement, the possible replacement that they're eyeing, is also someone that we're targeting. So we're just like that looming shadow that comes above them and go like, so what are you gonna do? Like it's kind of like their move. And the problem is like I feel like after all this noise I still feel like Isak is still our number one target and is going to be the guy that we're going for because knowing how Edwards operates, it's always 1A. Like he's willing to wait.
Yeah.
Yeah, if 1A doesn't arrive, he's willing to wait a few months until 1A is available. Like case in point, Virgil van Dijk. Like we started the 17-18 season with only Matip and Lovren as our like truly first choice and they weren't the best just to wait for Virgil instead of getting a stopgap. So I kind of see them doing that, but without the waiting because Newcastle are kind of like in a position where at this point they either have to sell or just take it on the chin that they're going to lose Isak on a free. Either is not desirable for them, and it's the problem is it's all the better for us, right? It would suck to be a Newcastle fan because we've been in that position multiple times ourselves, like just recently with Trent, right? Like what he did to us. But at the same time, kind of we're in Real Madrid's position now. We're we're just waiting. We've reached out to the player. He's interested, and all we got to do is kind of wait,
So
right?
is Isak's contract for them up next year?
From what I've heard, yeah, from what I've understood, it's yes, it is. Is it
Because I mean that would be the only way this kind of affects them. I know. Yes, it expires. No, it expires June 2028 is what this says. I think it's more about it becomes the
But
player might want to leave. Yeah, Reese is in the comments. Good morning, sir.
probably
Um,
terms
I
as
think
well.
basically the more the issue is, if a player wants to leave, you're not going to want to keep an unhappy player who wants to go to like something. I think this would be a whole different scenario if they didn't make the Champions League, which is one reason I didn't want them to make the Champions League, I guess. But I think it would make it a lot easier, and it would really have Isak saying, "Hey, I want to go somewhere else," and then they have to accommodate and stuff like that. I think our bullying comes in the spot where we're kind of rushing their process, because I'm thinking they're like, "Hey, Ekitike is there, kind of like him. He's a younger version of this guy. We'll probably sell Isak for a ton." And go get like Ekitike for like 70, 80, 90, whatever it might end up being. So you actually add and you got younger and you kind of solved an issue that might become an issue if something happens, you don't make the Champions League or something like that. And I mean, they have signed Elanga as well, so they are spending the money up top. And it almost feels like the whole Ikitike thing initiated by them. There's no way in hell that the formation was going to change. We were talking about it on the Monday night podcast. Ali is a huge fan of Eddie Howe, and like how he was talking about, Eddie Howe kind of like sticking to his formation and not changing it the way Klopp never changed his formation. So they were never going to go to a 4-4-2 or something like that. And there's no way in hell they're going to spend that much money on a backup.
Yeah,
Nobody can afford to
right. Especially with
$200 in
right.
a striker. So this our move today in terms of like contact to Eintracht Frankfurt feels more just like, okay, you guys got to get this done. Just like rushing their process more than anything else. Because going back to what you were saying, I know they do not, Hughes normally does not say, oh, okay, then we'll go with this guy instead. But we're kind of like in a different situation where you have a guy like Mo, you have a guy like Van Dijk here, 2 more years. You made some moves where they are ready to go players, whether it's Wirtz, Kerkez, Frimpong. You
Yeah,
didn't sign any projects or anything like that. They're ready to go.
yeah.
So I feel like now is the time. So us waiting around 2 seasons for Isak, one is not doable because you need numbers up front, especially if you're going to sell Nunez. And two, by the time you get that striker, he doesn't have the luxury of playing next to Mo, for example.
It depends. I mean, I feel like it depends on how they view Ekitike as well. Do they view him as the 1A as well, or like the 1B option? Because like he he falls into this profile for me that he can be that sort of ready to go player, but then at the same time he's also very young, where he can
Yes.
also still be classified as a project signing. So he's like, as Matush would like to say, a little bit of both, right? Um,
In the
but
gray words of the prince.
right, like still, I feel like Isak is the 1A, and the fact that Romano came out with that report yesterday where Isak didn't shut it down completely. Like it
Yes.
gave me flashbacks to Coutinho back in the day, to Trent, right? Like with Real Madrid, there was no, there was no like we were getting on Trent's ass a lot last year, where he doesn't say anything. He doesn't say anything to quell the rumors. And I feel like the longer this goes, the longer Newcastle fans are going to feel like, so do you want to play for us or not? Kind of like us with Trent. Like, are you
But I'm
committing
kind
or
of
not?
liking how Isak is going about it. He's
Right.
more like, oh, if it happens, it's cool, but I'm not going to force the issue. You guys do you kind of thing. And I kind of like that approach more than, yeah, I mean, it doesn't, I personally doesn't think it compares to like the two names you threw out because they didn't handle it the same way. I mean, while Isak doesn't come out and say, no, I'm never going to Liverpool, because he wouldn't, because he knows, one, he probably wants to, and two, really, if Newcastle is up for it, then why the hell not? But I kind of like how he's approaching it, where he's kind of staying more quiet on it and saying, ultimately, yeah, I'll go. Just work it with the club. If you guys work it with the club, then we're good.
For
Because if
now.
he comes out and
For
says,
now.
for
Right.
now, yeah, but
Yeah.
if he comes out and says, like, I really want to go, that totally
Yeah.
demolishes Newcastle's, like,
Right. For
position
now.
to kind of like negotiate.
I
So
feel
you're
like
thinking Isak is eventually going to be
yes.
next step after this, what the
Yes.
bullying we did. he's going to come out and be like, ah, Liverpool sounds good this time of year.
Yes, I think so.
Hmm.
And what gives me confidence for that is Florian Wirtz. That we managed to entice him to this project, and it looks like Slot is great at sort of communicating with the player and what he sees for him, what how he sees them fitting into the system. And I'm not. This isn't like a dig on any previous manager or anything like that, but the fact that we managed to get a player of that caliber, meaning Florian Wirtz, just fills me with confidence with this whole Isak thing. It could be misguided. We could eventually not get him, and I would be 100% okay with Ekitike. Meaning, like, if if Hughes and Edwards think Ekitike is a good fit, then I'm all for it because their track record speaks for itself. But then at the same time, I feel like going for Isak is not punching above our weight, like what people mean to say. I feel like we're in that weight class already at this point, and we should have been a long time ago. Like, I feel like we should have been throwing our muscle like this for the longest time. Granted, the flip side of that, it's also kind of a cause and effect thing. The fact that we didn't throw our muscle like this over the last few years sort of enabled us to do it right now. So
Yes.
it's like a cause and effect thing. So it's like, yeah, this like we could have done this before, but the fact that we didn't do this before is why we're doing it now. So it's an exciting position to
Yeah, I
be
mean,
in.
the last summer definitely sets up this summer, right?
Right,
Like,
exactly.
being able to kind of go all out and get guys that really he does want. Ozan is in the house. What's going on? Reese says, how do you guys honestly think this will end? All right, I'll ask you as well. My feeling is this ends up with us, especially after today's move. I personally think we do get Isak at the end and they get Ekitike as the replacement. That's,
Yeah,
I think, how this ends.
right.
And this is the interesting part, though, and I'm glad, like, Mateusz brought it up. Is which one? Okay, let's start with, like, which one do you think will happen? How does this end? Like, let's answer Reese's question first.
Again, you could say that I'm running on delusion, but us getting Florian Wirtz really give me a lot of confidence with this whole thing because that Florian Wirtz arguably, or if not the best 10 in the world, and we managed to snap him up just like that, warding off competition from both Bayern Munich, which was kind of like the sensible, common sense choice from his end, and Manchester City as well, who have like significantly more spending power than us. That gave me a lot of confidence. So how do I think it ends? I agree with you. I think we get Isak. I think we get our man because I feel like Edwards, and this is just me, like obviously guessing, but based on his track record, if he sees that 1A generational type player that he wants and that he thinks could change us, like Allison, like Van Dyke, he'll stop at nothing to get that player. And I feel like Isak is in the same uh, sort of caliber, if that makes sense.
See, this one
Uh,
is different, though. I think with Wirtz, it was more about. I think it was impressive because you fended off other clubs who were probably willing to spend the money as well.
right.
This one seems, to me at least, it's a lot more about the money and how much we're willing to, like, spend for it, or what Newcastle is expecting. Is Newcastle expecting 140, 150? Because we're saying I mean, according to the reports, we're like willing to do 120 if he's available. And we'll talk about, like, we rather do that part of it. But my thing is with this one, it's more about, like, are we willing to spend the money? Because right now, if Liverpool wanted to, and I guess this brings us to the next question, because I think Matush was talking about he would rather do Isak on 120 or nothing and not risk at like 60, 70 on
We're not
Ekitike.
kidding him.
Would
It's
you
yeah.
rather sign Isak for 120, or would you rather sign Ekitike for 60, 70, whatever it might
He's
be?
I mean, easily, like what Mansur said, easily Isak. Again, known commodity. Like he's scored. Again, this is coming off from what I said earlier, where if we do get Ekitike instead of Isak, I'd still be rolling for that signing. I'd be like, okay, like that's still decent. But then at the same time, if you're willing to spend 70, 80, or 70 with add-ons, like 50 million gets you the best striker in the league right now on current form. So
True.
yeah, so you might as well. And this summer hasn't exactly been hasn't exactly been showing us being shy of spending, right? Considering there might be some outgoings as well. Like we still haven't sorted Nunez. Like right now, it's going to be I think Napoli pulled out, and then the Saudi team, the team from Saudi wants him. So with them, we can get a decent fee for him. Assuming like how big they pay. Diaz isn't sorted yet, right? So there might still be some outgoings there to potentially fund a move for an Isak or an
Yeah, see,
Ekitike.
I don't count that as fun the move though.
You don't think so?
I mean, because you have to replace those guys as well.
Well,
So, like, if
one is to
Diaz is
one.
going, it's not like you can take that money and be like, hey, put it on Ekitike kind of a thing, or because you have to replace Diaz as well. So if you move Nunez, because of I mean, you still
Nunez,
have to
yeah.
have the numbers up top. I mean, the only appeal probably of not spending 120 on Isak, because I think when it comes to the players, you're getting a proven goal scorer in the Premier League, and I think that's the biggest thing. I think Paul posted this on our Discord yesterday. Blue over here is Ekitike, and the red is Isak. So the red is obviously being done in the
The
Premier
Premier
League,
League.
which
Yeah.
makes it to me a lot more impressive in a lot of the ways. So it's a lot more difficult to do. But like style numbers, I mean, that's almost like the before and after over there. The only thing, like I say, with signing the appeal of signing Ekitike would be, yes, it's a lot more risky, but it still gives you that extra 50 million to spend for your backup striker or another winger or whatever the case might be. Depends on what you're going to do with Chiesa and stuff. My only thing is if you do spend 120 on Isak, uh, you have to maybe like then hang on to Chiesa,
You
or
hang
make
on to
sure you're
Kiesa.
definitely keeping Diaz regardless of the price kind of a deal, because you will need numbers as well.
Yeah, I think if we get Isak, Chiesa stays. I still think Diaz is staying. Like I'm very mixed on that one. Like because he's saying that he wants to leave too.
Really, you're mixed on this one. This is a shocker for everybody who follows the
Yeah,
Wednesday
again, here
morning
we go.
show.
Like gaslighting 101. Like it's not like I published a short like for the last
This,
Wednesday show
this is
that
because
stayed.
this is too easy on Wednesday mornings for me.
Yeah,
Anytime the DS conversation comes
yeah.
up.
It's not like I published a short that I said that Diaz leaving wouldn't be ideal, but with the fee that we're asking for Diaz though, like that's the only thing that sort of makes this a conversation. What did Bayern offer? Was that 70 million and we rebuffed it immediately? That is a
From what I read, though, it was like I don't know, like 70 was with add-ons. That
with
seemed a little
add-ons.
far-fetched kind of a deal. I mean, the fact that that's the second bit I think we kind of like turned down.
Mm,
That almost feels like, yeah, we're just like keep trying. Like how about you make that better and come back kind of a
right.
deal, which is fine. You still have Gakpo over there, but you still have to replace. Like I said, in terms of numbers, you have to ultimately replace me. Dave Kazi over here
Kazi.
really, really misses you.
Yeah, it's been a while since I've had a show with Kazi. I think our
Lucky
last show
you.
I think the
No,
last
Kazi
show I
will be
had with
on
Kazi
Friday.
I think the last show I had with Kazi was still in the season. Like we were still playing. So it's been
Oh,
a while.
really?
Yeah, we were
I
still
mean,
playing.
the Wednesday Friday thing. I mean, no, literally
Yeah.
is not worth 100, but
If we could
if
get someone to cough up close to 100 million, that's just money. That's Michael Edwards, my friend. Like even the 70 like add-ons and so on. That's really high for a player who's 29,
yeah.
right? That's really high. Like for me, that's found money.
I
I'd
don't
take
think
it.
you're gonna get 100, but I
No, no,
mean,
no. You're not gonna get 100. Yeah.
you have basically found a buyer. I mean, it's the same thing, Eintracht Frankfurt was doing with freaking like Ekitike, really. Like, they're if
Hmm.
you have buyers and interested, you can kind of be like, no, I'm not feeling that
Well,
offer, and see if they come back for more.
let me turn the tables then. Do you think he's staying?
Who, Diaz?
Yeah, do you think we keep him? Like I'm more 50. I'm like 51, 49, 51. He stays.
I just feel like that depends on like how desperate and willing Bayern is more than anything else. I think we're in a situation where we're comfortable not selling him, so
Yeah.
it will take like a really good offer to pry him off our hands. So if the offer, like, it's almost like an offer you can't refuse, kind of an offer to take him off our hands. Otherwise, I don't know, man. I feel like,
Right.
especially if you're saying, "Oh, we're gonna do 120 for Isak," you're going all in. I don't know why you would kind of like rock the boat and like number one, I kind of like talking about how many changes like can we do up in the front line that we're comfortable with. And aside from that, I just don't think then you go all in. Diaz is an important piece. Diaz
Yeah.
gets a lot of crap. So this is Diaz is gone. I don't want to sell him, but if he wants to leave, and
Yeah,
here's
but
another
then
thing: like it's not he's on the same boat as Isak. I think. Like I kind of find it similar, where he has not, he is okay. I'll go, but he's kind of letting the club deal with it, similar to how Isak is doing with Newcastle. He's like, I'll go,
it's
yeah, sure, why
yeah,
not? But
and
work it with the club.
we have like you said, like people get on Diaz, not me by the way. People get on Diaz and Gakpo even, but then those two being our left wing rotation is pretty good. Like that's a pretty good
Yeah,
rotation to have in that position, and I'd like to keep that coming into next season. But then at the same time, uh, I think if we manage to get them to cough up close, not like you said, they're not going to get 100 million. There has to be like a threshold. If they reach that, it might be too hard to ignore. As much as I don't like having just two attackers from our last
yeah.
season's
I
lineup.
mean, I thought that Diaz had the transfer requests.
Did he?
Um,
I, it
I
wasn't
read
like
that, but then I
yeah,
never got a confirm. I kind of take it as, I mean, that's his way and his agent's way of trying to kind of negotiate more about his contracts. I mean, obviously, he's going to go somewhere else now with a lot more wages and stuff like that, which is probably what's, he's mainly after, especially at his age. But we're not going to do a contract, I don't think, an extension with him and
oh
paying him
yeah,
the
oh yeah.
wages that he wants. So that's not part of the equation. I just don't think.
I mean,
Um, I mean, like I say, Bayern. I think, like Z was saying earlier, that Bayern will have the 100 million and are
yeah.
desperate for a left winger. I don't know if they're that desperate, so I don't think there's going to be that much of a desperate move because it is really really high price for an old winger, and it's not like usually the Bayern way, right? Like Bayern will
Yeah,
get
yeah.
these guys that are like in the late 20s, use them for a couple of years, then sell them on for like 30, 40 kind of a deal. But I just don't think they go all the way in for that. Liverpool Goal TV says Edwards and Hughes have everything under control. Players who need to go will be sold, and the players we're targeting, including Isak, will be completed.
Damn, I hope so. I
When,
granted,
I guess, is the question, and this I
yeah.
feel like today's move is more about, like the Eintracht Frankfurt move is more about rushing Newcastle to get this done. What do you say about Trevor's thing? I don't see it happening, obviously, but Diaz, Nunez out, Isak, because I don't think you're doing Isak and Gordon, because I don't
Yeah,
think
from both
Newcastle is doing
both
that.
from Newcastle. Yeah, I don't think so. they they'd hate our guts for that, man. Like I don't
But
think.
I think part of the deal was, imagine if Hughes pulls off €100 million masterclass for. I mean, if he does, hey,
Yeah, listen,
build
man.
a statue. But I
Yeah,
just don't. I just don't see it.
the first offer that they turned down, the one with including add-ons, that's already high, man. Like right, like for a 29-year-old
See, I
wing.
think that
Yeah,
I don't know what the base was on that one, but I know
but
like what I read was the add-ons were really, really like out there.
really,
Like
so
he
you'd say
catches
50% of
a
that fee
bird
was the
with his
add-on.
mouth. I mean, they were just like really out there for him to reach those numbers
Yeah,
for
that's
us
fair.
to get the 70. It was one of those deals. And I think, I don't know,
Bayern
like
are
I would
desperate
rather
though.
keep Lucho, especially if you're signing Isak, you're going all in, man.
Right,
I would
right.
rather keep him. But it does make it tempting to kind of like move him. If you have a target in mind that's going to be younger. The thing is, all this time we talked about Gordon.
Mm.
Like Kazi and Galley and all these guys, they were saying about like Gordon, and we got a lot of crap for it on social media, mind you. But you're not doing Gordon and Isak. I think that's where that falls apart. So if you're doing Isak, you're probably not doing Gordon because I don't think Newcastle is doing that. It would be my theory,
Yeah, yeah.
which makes the whole Ekitike thing. So like there was a lot of talk about Rodrygo, for example. Rodrygo rumors because he is
I am totally against that move. I
really
just don't
why?
like from the talent aspect. Yeah, he's a great player and would be an like more than an excellent Diaz replacement. Like call me emotional, but I just didn't like how the comments that he made to our club like back in the day when we were still going toe to toe with Real Madrid. It just rubbed me the wrong way. And obviously if he comes in, scores a few bangers, my mind would be changed as well, you know what I mean? But then at the same time, to your point about Isak, if we go Isak for 120, there's no way we're getting Rodrygo for probably a big amount,
Yeah.
which Real Madrid is going to be selling him to. Ozan, I don't not rate Rodrygo. He's a great player. Then at the same time, I don't like his attitude. Like
Hmm.
attitude stinks, man. I just don't like him.
I don't know. What did he say back in the day?
Something about something mocking Mo, I think. Uh when Real Madrid like took the piss out of us multiple seasons, beat us in the Champions League final, beat us 5-2. Something about Salah and training. But I don't know. It's just I don't like I
Yeah, I heard about that. I just could
yeah,
not remember. I remember something like this. I don't
yeah.
remember exactly. You yes, you do hold
I
grudges.
just despise that club. Like
Oh, see, yeah, that's the
yeah,
thing that yeah, I know what
I
you mean.
yeah, I just despise everything about that club. It's a government club, basically. Like everything about it. Yeah,
The whole regime over here.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah, I don't think it's the fact that he's scoring against
yeah. It's
us
not that.
that's
It's not that
rubbing
he
me the wrong way.
scores. I
It's
just
just
don't.
more about what he's. I don't remember what he said or how bad it was or what it was or anything like that. I almost feel like sometimes we take stuff that if our player did it in practice is so cool. If another guy does it
Yeah,
in
listen.
practice,
Like,
it's just
hold it
like
against me. I don't like the guy. Like, if we get him and he scores a
another
banger, and
great
he's
thing to hold against you and really gaslight moving forward. This is great.
right.
That's
Like, listen.
just
If we get him, he scores, comes up good. Then listen, I'll eat it. If there's one thing, if there's one thing I know that I don't do here, it's that I don't stand on my word. I stand on my word. Like, I still think that what's his name? Ipswich striker. He'll come good at Chelsea.
oh, here we go.
Yeah. So
Yeah, that guy is suddenly
yeah,
like fifth in the depth chart order here.
yeah.
I'm not buying this. I think Kazi was talking about Diaz, Nunez, Costas, Morton, Elliott's all out. Um, and then Isak-Ekitike, Rio. I'm not buying that Rio is part of the
Yeah,
first
the
team.
Rio is a. I
We got
like
it.
it.
I
I
mean,
like
the
the
Rio thing really scares me. It's gonna become the next freaking Polish Messi BS over here. Like looking at him, yes, he's dangerous against Preston North and stuff like that, but he's 16. It's way too early. I think you might see more of him this season,
right.
but you are not penciling him as your front line of like six players and like
I
count Rio as one.
It's becoming eerily similar to Ben Doak a few seasons ago, kind of like with Rio, right? Like
Yeah,
where they were like, oh, like Ben Doak is the direct Salah like backup. Like I don't know. I like the idea that Kazi's putting in. Like I like the idea of him like slowly getting better and better. But if he's gonna be our like straight up backup to Gakpo if we sell Diaz, I don't know, man. I don't know. I worry like you. It's because I'm on the Wednesday show often, so I worry a lot. Like it,
exactly. It's contagious.
yeah,
Ozan is, I'm not. I'm comparing him in terms of hype. I guess is my thing. I mean, they're totally different players. I get that, but this is the kind of stuff that, no offense to Kazi, but this is the kind of stuff that fans love doing in summer and then bitch about it in March, where instead of having reliable experience depth, it sounds great, right? You're like, and the kid will come in
yeah,
and
yeah.
play and stuff. And then when we need a goal mid-season, and we're playing against, I don't know, like a City or like Newcastle or whoever, right? They're gonna put in like an established studio, like they're putting in that guy, we're putting in a 16-year-old, blah blah. Is what it's gonna be. It all sounds great. The shit sounds great in summer, and then we'll have that young kid here. We'll have this young kid there. First of all, he's too freaking young. Physically, I don't think he's ready for the Premier League, and I think he's 17 in August. Yeah, I like I say, I just don't see him getting that much regular time. Not to mention this is slots. He is more. reliant on experience from what we've seen so far. If anybody, I think Dan's can be the like the backup that you get. I think he has more of a shot because I feel like physically he's more ready for the Premier League. I think Rio has huge potential. Don't get me wrong. And
Right,
I
I
think,
agree.
some of the stuff that, we don't like in this game, that I don't like in this game, he will probably get out of it. I mean, I was talking about it on Monday. The couple of things he did, it's
Yeah,
all fun and games, and Mo kind of clap it off. But if he does that shit against Bournemouth in week one, like Mo is going across the field to the left hand side, slap him, and going back to his right wing, because yeah, we don't do that. Like, it's just, I feel like he was thrown out there and like, hey, it's preseason, do your thing. There's no pressure because yeah, you're not gonna be there either way, so there's no pressure. I guess we can talk about Rio and see like what's the best thing to do with him. But like in the long run, do you loan him out, or U21s? Do you bring him up or whatever? But that's a conversation for another day. Kazi says, yeah.
dang, wow.
No, I mean, it feels like they are not going to let us. I would think the way it's unfolding right now, and that's why we did the move that we did today. They are not going to let us talk to Isak and kind of like negotiate for that until they have
Ekitike.
acquired the
Yeah.
replacement.
Yeah, that would be the sensible. I'm all for what Kazi's saying though. Like that just like is the ultimate power play. But realistically, like you said, and I would like to think here in the Wednesday show that this is the like mellow midweek, right? We don't really we don't really go balls to wall. That's for the Friday show, right? So
Yeah, because
I
the Kazi's on there.
and then
When
on,
you bring
right?
Kazi and Onan into a show, yeah, it's gonna be a shit show. Yeah,
but yeah, I think what's this? I think we get one or the other. Uh and and that one is still going to be Isak for me. Like, call me delusional, but again, us getting Florian Wirtz gave me a lot of confidence in terms of like us doing our business and getting who we want, which is a nice feeling to have. I never like seeing the training pics yesterday with Salah next to Wirtz. I was like, oh, if you showed me this like a year ago, post
yeah.
Klopp, by the way, like Klopp just left. It's the guy who replaces him who manages to pull this off. I'd be like, you gotta be like, you're shitting me.
That's
Like
an
this is
interesting. There was like a lot of discussion in one of the Facebook groups yesterday
right.
about, oh, we didn't spend this money when Klopp was here, but I don't think you could spend this money when Klopp was here because, I mean, his probably biggest weakness, which was also partially was his strength, I guess, the connection with the players and stuff,
Yeah,
but he did not want to let go either. It wasn't as ruthless
like
as,
for
it looks like Slot would be.
for all the sentimentality talk, like I get that 100%, right? And we've had like, for example, the 22-23 season where it was just really bad because
Yeah.
all of our midfielders' collective legs fell off. But then at the same time, we were just like a few results away, like one or two results away from like three Premier League titles and three Champions Leagues.
Oh, look, I mean,
Right. Yeah.
I'm not
So
like it's a
yeah.
different way of like going about things, but
Yeah.
I was more addressing people saying, "Oh, we didn't spend that money then," because I think we wanted to keep this guy, we wanted to keep this guy with those
Yeah.
wages, so you're not going to go spend the money at the same time, and we went against a team with a bazillion charges.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you still have like three, four, five Premier League things. I think I don't want to speak on behalf of Kazi, but I think if you're signing Ekitike and Isak, it's because they are going to be out there. I don't think you're spending 70 million on your
For the
backup.
backup. Yeah.
So unless you're changing the formation where you are going, the four midfielders and you're playing two up top, then you can
Mhm.
afford to move Diaz, right? Then you can say, okay, like, we don't need as many wingers. So we will take the money for Diaz and maybe take that money and convert it to Ekitike and stuff like that. I understand that concept, and I guess, I get that. But at the same time, I just don't think we are spending 200 million suddenly to get two strikers. I don't know. I
It,
just don't
it,
see it.
it it addresses like our dire needs immediately. Though, like if we get them both and then we keep Diaz, then that's the front line set,
So now
right?
you have, for your front line, you have Ekitike,
Isak.
according to this theory, which I'm not buying, mind you, but you have Gakpo,
Diaz.
Chiesa, Mo. Oh, you didn't sell Diaz. You kept
I didn't
Diaz.
sell Diaz. I didn't sell Diaz.
Oh, so
That's
you keeping Ekitike as your backup. Why the hell would Ekitike come over? I love these theories you guys have sometimes, man. I
that's
don't
why
know.
it's fun.
Why
It's
would
just a
Ekitike sign a
dude.
contract
Have
and go to
fun.
a team to sit behind Isak?
Have fun for a little bit. Jesus.
It's not fun. It's like what, illogical.
Like
Like, how is that
listen.
fun?
Listen.
What
I
if I
was just
played next year? Let's have some fun. I mean,
Jesus. Okay. Okay, man.
oh, you
Like I
don't
was
want
just
that. You
entered.
can't handle that much fun, can you?
No, I was literally just imagining imagining it. Like if Ekatike wants to come in and be the backup, if he wants to do that, he is well within
Why
his
would
rights.
he?
Yeah. No, why would he? To win? Right? To win. Like get those medals, rack up those medals. Like you literally got people going to Manchester City willing to be rotation options just so they can stack up some medals. So
How
why
old
can't
is this
people do
kid?
it with us? You know
Dude,
what I
he's
mean?
23.
Yeah, I get it. From the realistic standpoint, it's probably not going to happen, but this is just for the sake of conversation and entertaining Kazi's idea. Right?
Yeah, okay, that's your first mistake is entertaining Kazi's ideas.
Hey, we got to talk about something. We got to talk about something in this show, man. Like um
Well,
yeah,
that's his feel back. He's like, yeah, let's have some fun. Well, honestly, to be fair, I might rather have John than Costa, so there's that.
yeah, I'd probably be stronger than Costas at this point. I don't know. Speaking of, Costas is still in the team,
Cousins
surprisingly.
from the team, we were talking about it on Monday. If it's kind of the current situation in terms of like the emotions in this team and
Yeah.
the challenges that like the tragedy has brought and stuff like that, if that would change the minds of the powers that be in terms of which left back to keep.
Yeah.
But the flip side of that was a guy like Robertson. Would he fancy a move away even more now because he feels like this is more painful, you know, being in the same place where he spent time with Jota and stuff like that. I mean, it's really a lot of the stuff like really depends on the individual. Or will Robertson want to stay and kind of like we were talking about it last week, like it's easier to grieve when you're like sharing that grief with others and knowing there's a lot of like young guys on this team and stuff like that. Would you want to stay and help that process, or for his own sake would he want to go somewhere, have a fresh start where he's not reminded daily of it? And that's really, I mean, I wouldn't blame him either way, to be honest with you, because that's a personal thing more than anything
Yeah,
else.
and he's more than done his fair share for the club. Like you can't say that he didn't give his all for us, and whatever he did, he always was hyper professional, one of our leaders in the locker room, which is also like a detriment if we sell him. We're gonna lose that leadership in the back line. Like I still feel like obviously Robertson. I think like 99.9% of the Liverpool fan base would rather just keep Robertson over Costas,
Yes.
because I still feel like he's going to have his moment next year where either it's deadlocked, we need the points. He's just going to come up with that vintage lung bursting run, then put in across the face, and then someone taps it in. You know what I mean? Like vintage
Yeah.
Robertson. You still need that veteran presence there. So, but at the same time, like you mentioned, whatever decision he makes, you can respect it, right?
Yeah,
Like,
because I mean, it would be more
yeah,
like a personal thing of like
yeah,
what he, because it went away from a month ago. This conversation was more about would he rather go somewhere and start, or
yeah.
would he rather be like backup and chase your trophies kind of a thing? Would you rather do that?
Mm,
But now that has kind of changed, and I don't know. Like, I honestly would rather have him do the stay
yeah.
and kind of help grieve along with the others, help some of the young guys along, and continue to be a leader. But I would not blame him if he said, yeah, this is just too painful, not only being a backup now or rotational piece at best, but aside from that, this is just too painful being in the same place, being reminded daily, and want to go somewhere else for a change of scenery, change of clearing head and
Who
stuff like that.
knows?
I would not blame him. I think I would blame him more if he was like, well, I want to start or something like that.
Who knows? Like he could be like how much is like Robertson's decline in form down to like him being overused, right? Like we were talking about about Jota before he passed, right? He might be more effective being the backup off the bench. Like playing Robertson once a season, whether that's in Europe or the league, could do wonders for him and his form. Right, him
I
being a
don't think
once a
he
week player.
was. I know he started the season really bad, but I think he wasn't as bad the rest of the season. And people are kind of like anybody looking at the Preston game and kind of
Right.
like judging him when he's playing as a center back next to Nalo, for God's sakes. It's not like he
No,
was
no, no.
playing center
Like,
back next to Van Dijk or something like that. Is like just kind of like totally unfair
oh yeah,
to
yeah.
judge him on that. I mean,
It,
swap the roles, put Kirkes as a center
it
back,
would be
put
nice.
Robertson as left back. I think the performances would be swapped.
It would be nice, like when we're already a big channel, Tim, when we get to the goals that we want to go and we're like making money and this is our full-time job, right? It would be nice to have like a data guy to kind of put in like the data when Robertson's form kind of went up. I think in the middle of the season, like he got better as the season wore on. Did
Yes.
that coincide with more rotation with him and Costas? That would be nice to know, right? Like because maybe
It did.
that,
I can tell you that. I was
right.
actually. I'm about
Oh yeah,
to.
you would know because
Yes, I'm about to put out a video because I think when you get
yeah,
when you didn't use them midweek as well is
yeah,
when you got the best out of Robertson. I think when you were able to use like the League Cup game, everything else, like put
right.
Costas out there, and now Robertson will be the one out there, and then you would have Kirk as. I
Mm,
mean, it's obviously like an ideal situation for me as well to have Robertson stay. I just think I actually have like something in the works in terms of like comparing more like Kirkes's numbers with Robertson, and really it is not that much difference. Like
mm,
they're pretty done. Like I mean, you look at the heat maps and stuff like that. There's a lot of similarities. Robertson just became the until the end of the season when we realized what the hell Chan was doing. That's when everybody shifted the focus to where the issues were in defense. For some reason, he became the Lovren and Gomez of the back line, where everything was somehow Robertson's fault. Whereas I don't think he had as bad of a season as people make it out to be. Is he the same guy?
no,
No. And in
no.
maybe some ways, the way we play now suits him less
Yeah.
and does not take advantage of like some of the things he can do. But I still do think he has an important part to play, and if he's playing once a week, like I would rather
Yeah.
definitely. I mean, it's a no brainer for me. And like you said, for 99.9%, it is probably a no brainer to
Yeah.
keep him as your
Yeah. Easily.
backup or rotational left back and stuff like that.
And
Are
this-
we worried that we haven't seen Mecca? I mean, we did see Mecca.
he was there
But
and the yeah.
he was there at the game. I
Yeah, at
didn't
the game.
pay attention to during the training. To be honest with you, I don't know. It feels like it's way too early to be like worried,
Considering the
even for
load,
me, even by my standards.
right? Considering the load though that McAllister and Gravenberg had to carry last season, like you
Yeah,
could give him an extra few days. You know what I mean? He could
I mean,
not be.
especially for
Yeah.
Mecca, who has kind of like he did the World Cup, the Copa America. I mean, he's
Yeah.
been on like a vicious cycle with like short summers as
Yeah.
well. So if you can afford to give him the rest, by all means, like go ahead and do it. I think this year will kind of help in that sense. They'll have with Veers coming in, we still don't know how we're going to play. That was the only thing with this preseason. It was more about like the emotional aspect and the tactical aspect of things, where you didn't see, and with so many pieces missing, you didn't see anything like, oh, this is what we're doing now, or anything
It
like
was
that.
just, let me just say, it's just so nice to have some sort of football back. When Gravenberg made that turn and the Preston game, I was like, "Oh, we're back, baby! We are back!" Like my God, we are back! Like,
Yeah,
Yep.
watching the game felt
Yeah,
a bit more normalcy. The pre and post I was talking about on Monday was quite painful for me, but the whole um like the watching a match again
right.
and like actually
Speak
analyzing actual
actual,
match
yeah.
things and football things was definitely a nice pace over here.
Speaking of speaking of painful things to analyze, are we going to touch on our number five, um, or
Ah,
rather
here
the
we go. Yeah, that is going to be painful. Sure, why not? You brought it up. You
yeah,
discuss.
like because I was thinking of making a poll sometime today for the channel. Like, what does everyone think?
That's a good
Like,
idea, actually. Throw that on there because by the time I'm sitting down here in the morning with Kazi over here, look, I mean, anybody in Discord knows the conversations that is going around it. I realize it sucks to have somebody play out their contract and stuff like that. But the whole notion of punishing a player because they're doing that, I think is just bullshit.
it's we got to find the balance. As Matoush says, the man himself says, we got to find a little bit of both here. Like, as much as disgusted we are with the situation, there's no one in the world, I think, who covers that right side when the fullback goes up better than Kanate. So even if we get a Mark Gahey or whoever as our backup, like, I would still have Kanate starting over him, right?
Or I
Um,
mean, here's the thing: if Gay comes in and plays better than Konate has some
no,
times
no,
where
to
he gets
start
in a
off,
couple of ruts, but it
right,
should be whoever is the best one at the
right,
time
exactly,
suitable to win that game
exactly.
because he's moving out. You know what pisses me off is some of these fans saying that, and I'm not talking about the ones that say that in Discord, but when we posted a clip about Diaz and his wages, everybody was like, "Well, he signed the contract, and he shouldn't have signed the contract. That's his agent's problem."
Yeah,
So that one is fine, but when the guy is playing out his contracts and is going to leave on a free, that's not. You can't have it freaking both ways,
hmm, yeah,
and
I
that's
totally
my
agree.
thing. You just can't have it both ways. You can't. I don't understand why we're punishing a guy because he's not signing an extension that he feels like is not adequate.
Right, and the same thing I feel like would have happened last year with Trent if we were still in the title race. Like, the only reason why Slot didn't play him towards the end is that the league was done. But at the same time, if we needed to win the league, we probably still would have played him. And the same way goes for Kanate. If he's still under contract with us next year, he still hasn't renewed, and he plays better than whoever backup we get. We shouldn't be punishing him. We should be starting the guy because he's
Yeah,
more he's instrumental to us in winning a game. Like, and for the record, I don't like what's going on either. But then at the same time, I also recognize the reality. He's a
yeah,
top class center back, so we should play him. We should keep him around.
yeah.
Like,
I mean, here's the thing: if you're gonna sell him,
yeah,
yeah, I'm okay if
yeah,
Liverpool says, "Hey, we're not gonna get anything next year, so we're selling him for 30, 40, well under his value and stuff like that." I
yeah,
mean, similar to what we're doing with Gay, right? I mean, he's on
yes,
the same boat over there. I love how we like that,
yeah,
but
yeah,
we don't like this. Like,
yeah,
so we like that because they didn't sell to Newcastle for 70 last year, but now the tables have turned. They risk losing him to nothing, so we might be able to get him for like 50, let's say. Well, we're all over that, the getting him for a lot less, but we're not happy when Konate plays out his contract and he doesn't sign like an extension and stuff. And I'm putting it totally different than trans category for people who are comparing it because he's not at least playing the game and acting and stuff. Like, you know what I mean? He's not doing this, he's not doing that. He's just
oh
playing
yeah,
like
yeah, I
he
get
hasn't
what you
even
mean.
said anything. He has already said he has like, they're working on it. There's nothing yet, but he's going about his business. It just freaking I mean, Alan says, I don't think so. I mean, I know what you think, but I don't think that affects Konate at all.
No,
What
I
these guys want to do is play Gehi, never play Konate, so that
yeah,
he has to go somewhere in January to play to go to the World Cup.
right. And if we throw form out of the window with how our right fullback is gonna play, you'd still want Kanate there,
Yeah, I
covering
don't
that
know
right
though.
side.
Like, do we know
Yeah.
how our right back is going to play?
I mean, I'm basing it on how Frimpong usually plays, so I think that's an
I
like,
guess. Yeah, that's fair.
yeah, and
But
obviously
he's not a
Slot,
right back, as some would say.
right, and Slot wouldn't have bought a player like Frimpong for him to stay on that right side instead of bombing forward. So,
Yeah.
right, like, and listen, Konate is like, obviously people are gonna have a like put things against him for the saga and everything. But like I said a while ago, we still gotta put the best. We gotta still gotta put ourselves in the best position to win. And if that means starting Konate, we gotta keep doing it. So,
Yeah, I
uh,
mean, the World Cup, Sorzi says Konate needs to play well to get picked for the World Cup. The whole World Cup thing is, I think, what people are trying to use almost like against the player in terms of, hey, if you not do this, then we're not gonna, play you as much. So you're probably gonna miss out on the World Cup and stuff like that. I guess my thing is when you operate as like a freaking mafia mentality, you have to understand that's next year when in the transfer market, we can't. This is what I mean. Like people love to get the best of everything and like poo poo everything else. You can't talk about luring in Wirtz, for example, right? With like tactical or whatever approach we had and the kind of team we have and the environment we have, the club we have, and then on the other side pull this kind of mafia crap and then not think that next season when you approach a player he doesn't think on the back of his head, well, this is what these guys just did last year, and maybe pick another club instead. Because I
I get
wouldn't
what you
want to
mean.
go to the mafia operation.
You mean like the hostility of the fan base or whoever? Yeah.
No, no, I mean, no, not really. I think everybody in the world of football understands why Trent got what he got, and
No,
if
no,
you
no.
don't,
That Trent
you
is
get
like a
Trent.
unique
Yeah,
scenario.
the
Yeah, Trent is a
Konate
unique.
thing, I think no, not more. I mean, if we're benching him and not playing him, like there were people sending him to the youth team and stuff like that, like doing bullshit
Konate?
like that. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh,
Oh, okay.
you gotta hang out in Discord more.
I
But
don't because exactly of this conversation. Like I listen. I'd rather talk on. I'd rather talk in our show so so people can put a face to the name. I don't like the comfort sometimes, and this isn't about our Discord. This is like in general, right? I don't like how comfortable people have gotten with saying things behind a user, behind the computer screen that they
yeah,
won't say in real life. So I don't really put my takes on Discord. I put my takes on here with the show so I can stand on business. That's
yeah. I
just
mean,
a yeah.
on our Discord, I think we know.
Yeah.
Well, for the most part, I think we know who
Yeah.
most everybody is.
Right.
But I think in terms of like the whole my concept is like punishing a player and twisting arms to get your way
Mm,
is great for this summer, but it's gonna affect you next summer. And if you don't think it's going to, you got another thing coming.
yeah. Yeah.
And that's
Yeah.
that was my thing.
No, no,
Like
no.
they're like,
I
oh, like
agree.
we'll just shoot him in the knee if he doesn't play and stuff like that. I mean, it doesn't work like that. I mean, that's the thing. And if you want to make it work like that, good luck convincing another player next year who has two, three different options and say, aren't you guys the ones that are busting kneecaps? Yeah, okay. Well, I'm gonna have to pass, kind of a thing.
Right.
And that's very natural. I would freaking do it, especially like what's gonna happen the year before Euros and stuff. I mean, it's
Yeah.
just I don't understand the thinking behind it. I love when and I know we all love this club. I love this club, but you have to kind of. I love when we love players, but we also will torture them if need be, kind of a thing for the sake of the club. I just don't know how we go both ways. It's just not
All
fair.
things all things considered though, Tim, like you made excellent points, but what would you do right now with Kanate?
If you have an offer that sells them for, you know, 60-70% of his value or something like that, I
You'd
would
go for
probably
it?
move him.
Yeah, same.
But the issue is you already sold Kwanzaa. It's awesome to see Gomez, by the way. Like I was watching the videos yesterday, and it was awesome to watch him play against Preston as well. But you already shorthanded on center backs. If you sign Gay, you go back to the numbers that you originally had.
Yeah.
So if the replacement cost of getting a top-notch center back is going to be a lot more that you can't afford, I would rather lose. I would rather keep Konate, and if you
Yes.
lose them, you lose them.
Yeah, and there's also the discussion of like at which point, because I feel like if we reach a certain point, if we haven't sold him, we have to keep him aboard based on what you said, because clubs are gonna know that we're, for example, we sell him like a week before the Community Shield. Like people are gonna go like, yeah, these guys are desperate, so they're gonna overprice the hell out of their center
Yes.
backs. We're not gonna be able to afford that. So there, I feel like there'll come a point like like later this month that if we haven't sold him, we have to keep him aboard, and we got to play
Well,
him.
I know there was a lot of talk like when this Diaz thing came, and then with Rodrygo and stuff like that, we'll be using him as a piece. But my thinking is, why would Real do that? Like, why would Real be like, yeah, we'll give you in-store credit of 50 million for a guy that we can get for free next season? That's the game that Real Madrid plays. I think we're all more annoyed at Real Madrid and the game itself than the player. So taking it out on the player does not seem fair. And like I say, I go back to all these people saying like, well, that's the contract Diaz signed. You should have never signed it. That's his agent's problem. Okay, well then this is our problem. Like, he has no obligation to sign a contract extension that he doesn't think it's fair. And here's another thing. Like, his value, and I'm sure Konate knows this, is at its peak. Because this is a guy, and this is another thing that pisses me off, by the way. All the people mad at the club for not extending him earlier. Why are we leaving him to the last summer? Kazi is freaking one of them, for example. Was in the Discord. Nobody was signing Konate to an extension 2 years ago. So don't give me that bullshit. With his injury history, nobody was signing him to an extension. If we did sign him to an extension and decent wages, everybody over here would be bitching up a freaking storm, saying, why do we sign an injury-prone guy to an extension and stuff? So it's great and very easy to do the hindsight and the Monday morning quarterback bullshit and saying like, oh, we should have signed him to an extension. Before last season, he was an unreliable center back.
Yeah, we had Kwanzaa starting over him. To start the season.
Not to mention that Kwanzaa started the season. I know he got yanked at halftime in the first game and stuff. So like this, I love how we do the hindsight when it's convenience, and then blame the club for not signing the extension, and then blame the player for not signing an extension and stuff like that. But it's part of the ordeal. And if you're happy about getting Gahey at a more discounted rate than what Newcastle couldn't get him for the season before, you got to kind of live with the Konate thing too. And it's Konate rolling the dice, I feel like, more than anything else in not signing a contract extension. He's kind of betting on himself. Because let's face it, if Konate has another injury, like regular Konate season,
yeah,
his value is a lot lower than what it is now.
Right. Last season was like more of the exception rather than the rule. Because listen, he got injured because a future teammate of his, if he moves to Real Madrid, tackled him twice in a Champions League game, not because he pulled something in training.
Exactly.
But the seasons before that, there was always an extended period where he was gone. So, yeah.
So he says, I blame Discord for my anxiety.
Why do you think I don't go to the freaking, as much? I post on the video.
Sometimes I have to say my piece occasionally. At least, my thing is, it's a lot better than saying your piece in a Facebook group and dealing with somebody. And it's a lot easier to pull receipts. Let's face it that way. Because, when with that talk was going on, I remember last year, the people who were saying he's injury prone and we can't rely on him and stuff like that. When we were talking about our center back situation last summer, should we sign a center back, blah, blah, blah. So coming back around now and be like, why do we sign him to extension? Why is he on his last year and stuff? It's just freaking insincere bullshit that really annoys me, I have to say. But let's not get me more pissed off. Steve, you're late. I'm already pissed. Why are you late? Sir, welcome aboard, sir. Better late than never. Chiesa, we talked a lot about it on Monday, but I'll ask you. You think the Chiesa decision has already been made, even before he's running around trying to press and stuff against Preston?
I think so. I mean,
Do you think the Isak, all this Ekitike, the love triangle going on?
Yeah, I don't think it matters
Chiesa at all.
I don't think it matters. I feel like Slot. Yeah, I don't think it matters because there were points last year where our forwards were misfiring. Our forwards not named Mo Salah was misfiring, and Chiesa was healthy, and Slot still didn't use him. So he clearly doesn't rate the guy. I would love for a complete 180 here, but do you see Slot as that kind of manager? I don't think so. If he doesn't rate a player, I don't know. There's an 80-85% chance he's likely gone. Same with Nunez. He's likely gone as well. I feel like Chiesa isn't back.
I think Chiesa, the whole World Cup conversation comes too. He probably wants to go somewhere where he's
right. Yeah,
and we don't know why he didn't play. He didn't play because he didn't do some of the things he asked, and now he's like, shit. I guess I got to do this stuff if I don't want to go to the World Cup. Or is it more about it's not a fit? But you're saying. Yeah. If Diaz goes, if we make a lot of changes, there isn't a world where they're well, we got to keep some freaking people here and keep, Mo, Gakpo, and then Chiesa as
that's what I would think if we get rid of Diaz and we get Nunez out as well. I feel like the common sense decision would be okay, let's give Chiesa another whirl, especially since he can play through those three positions.
Yes.
So that's listen, fit or not, that's valuable. Especially since if we bring Isak in, we don't have the immediate depth piece. He can be like a stopgap there down the middle.
Yeah.
Right. So I don't know. It's tough to say because it's just we've only known Slot and his thing for just over a year right now. We can only make assumptions on the current sample size. But yeah, to answer your question, I think the decision for him has already been made. But the
And that
Diaz,
decision you're saying is to sell him.
yes,
Okay.
yes,
Okay. I mean, that's probably fair. I mean, I would
yeah,
agree for the most parts. See, Steve. We already covered Rio, man, and I don't buy that. I personally don't buy that. I don't think he's. I mean, in Steve's defense, he can say, "I'll play his lawyer too." He can, he's not going to get a lot of minutes. Neither did Chiesa. In that sense, yes, Rio can pick up to 18 minutes or whatever Chiesa played the whole season in the Premier League, but I just don't think it's going to be. Uh, I think it's just too soon for Rio. It's probably not a fair thing to do to Rio in the first place. He's
yeah.
just way too young. I mean, yeah, let's just call me deluded. Look, the kid has a ton of potential. I just feel like it's very unfair to put him in that position, first of all.
It's
But
like
if you're saying, hey, he's the sixth guy, he comes in 2 minutes here, 5 minutes there, I guess.
when was the last time we just threw in a youngster out in the cold? I
Especially
think
in
the
the
first
front line. I can't like let's think in the front line.
I remember what vividly comes to mind for me, and it just harps on the situation that you're saying about him being unfairly criticized, is Bacetic a few years ago when our midfielders could not run, and we
Yeah,
started him. We started him in a Champions League tie against Real Madrid at Anfield, and everyone was getting on him for some reason. Like you're gonna get on the 17-year-old? My God! Like
yes.
we had much more problems back
For
then.
the front, the last guy I remember, I mean, we talked a little bit about Bandok, but I don't think Bandok was ever thrown in there as the savior. Like off season, yes, but never in season.
Jaden
Brewster?
Dan's maybe in the League Cup final, which worked out. like
I know we like during the
yeah,
Klopp era,
yeah,
we threw Brewster out there
yeah,
a few games,
yeah.
and we felt like, oh, like he's the next
Hmm.
Bobby and stuff. This is what I mean. Like we just see a young kid play one game and we're like, oh, he's the next this kind of a thing. But I just don't think it's like fair to say that. McConnell is I honestly think if out of the young kids,
Yeah, he's pretty
the
solid.
way he kind of plays in U21 and stuff like that, I think that kid's has a chance. But here's the thing, we talked about this before. It takes a lot to be able to be a regular at Liverpool Football Club.
Right. The
You
thing
have
is,
to
if
be a special player.
right, the thing is, and if we're talking about McConnell in a midfield role, we have bigger problems, my friend. Something happened for him to be in the conversations right now.
Probably. And
Yeah,
that's the thing. I'm not saying because, deluded Steve, but others who are now saying like McConnell, Rio, and stuff like that are the same guys who constantly bitch about Jones. Who bitched about Jones over the last 2 seasons and stuff like that. So I mean, I just don't want, I guess here's the scenario, right? And this is what I was telling the boys on Monday night. Game in November, 75th minute. We need a goal. I would rather have, and you know, and we kind of like talked about this. Rest in peace about Jota.
yeah,
Like
yeah. I was about to
he's
say
the guy that we want warming up
when you
and
said
stuff.
goal
Right?
needed, I was like
Yeah,
Diogo. Oh yeah,
like he
but
was
then
the guy that
yeah,
we wanted warming up, and we talked
yeah,
about this. I think there was like another freaking clip on this. But I would rather have Chiesa lined up on the sideline, ready to come in, than
absolutely,
Rio.
absolutely.
That's no offense to Rio.
Yeah, the thing is, there is actually something to back that up. League Cup final, nothing was
Yeah,
going on. We brought him on, and what? We scored a goal.
yeah,
like,
and Rio might come in. And here's the
yeah,
thing: like Rio will come in and he'll try to take those 2, 3 guys on to make something happen. Everybody will be like, "Oh, this kid is not ready." Blah blah blah. I don't think it's fair to do. I don't think it's fair to have Rio even line up in that situation. To be honest with you, like
yeah,
I'd rather have Chiesa be there. But I think if something decent comes in as an offer for Chiesa, he's a lot easier guy to replace. Because I mean, like the little Steve says, I don't mind him being that guy who replaces Chiesa minutes because they were almost non-existent.
yeah.
So it's like whatever. But I still do think Dance has a shot of being that guy. But I mean, we're in mid July. I know it feels like, I was thinking this morning before the show, like, man, when are these, like, we've been talking about these domino pieces falling and stuff. And it feels like this whole that week with Jota and stuff, it felt like 2 months, even though it was 7 to 10 days. It just literally felt like 2 months. So it
Yeah.
feels like, why is this taking so long? But it's not. And at the end of the day, you already have Kirkes, Frimpong, and Wirtz in the door over here. You just gotta sort out your front line and hopefully get Gahey in the door. So
Yeah.
having said that, by the time you're here back next Wednesday, continuing your streak,
Mm.
who is in the door, you think?
No one. I don't
No
think
one
anyone.
really.
I don't think anyone is in yet, but we're closer. And I just had a funny thought, like the scenario that you mentioned. November. It's a tie. We need the goal. We need the points.
Don't. I know where you're going. No, I
Darwin
knew you were gonna
Nunez
go there. I knew you were
pulls
gonna
up
go
like and someone just gives him the big one in Discord, like, oh, he's warming up. Watch this. He's gonna score a brace. Imagine that. Imagine that, man.
there. I hope
Imagine
not.
imagine the absolute stupidity that transpired this summer for that scenario to still be in play.
Honestly,
Like,
though, he I mean, he did well this game. I'll give him that. Like in
yeah,
terms of
listen, man. Like
contribution, he did
we've
well.
had a lot of those, to be fair.
Yes,
Yeah, we've had a lot of those,
yes,
right?
and it was Preston, so there is that.
Yeah.
But yeah, so but that'll be it for us today. Do tune in tomorrow night to the boys. I forgot to say it during the show, but please do hit the thumbs up. And as always, please help us out. Invite a friend over to give the channel a follow. And if you want to join the channel, shoot us a message as well, because we're adding a bunch of programming for the new season, especially a lot of like Premier League stuff. So we are actually looking for fans of other teams to come on and stuff like that as well. So if you have like an annoying buddy who's a fan of another Premier League club, bring him on. Let us slap him around. No, I'm just kidding. Like bring him on so he can kind of have his say as well, and we can kind of we have like a bunch of Premier League shows where we will feature other teams similar to the panel show. So do come on. And like I say, please, share the channel, spread the word. John, thanks as always, man. Continue the
Yep.
streak next week.
I'm leaving you guys with that image of us needing points in November and Darwin Nunez warming up on the
Nuts.
touchline.
It's freaking nightmare. No, they can't be that annoying, Steve. No, Premier League only ideally. But yeah, bring him on. Or recently the more relegated works too, I guess. But yeah, like I say, any team who is in the Premier League, whether they're represented in the panel right now or not, we're kind of trying to make the pool deeper and have people come on in the new Premier League shows. There's like 2 brand new shows coming up during the season over here. So one of them being, speaking of annoying people in your life, me and my bro, because we're gonna have the Rival Bros show over here instead on American Scouser. As you guys probably know if you follow the channel, that he is a United fan. So we'll actually be starting those pretty soon over here as we get rid of the season and start previewing and stuff like that. He does not look so happy right now with what they got going. So it'll be good to pile on him.
Have they signed Mbomo yet? No, right?
No, that's kind of floating
That
around
right,
forever.
that's gone on for like over a month now. That's crazy. Like,
Oh no, we're both Fenerbahce fans. There's no Galatasaray in this family. You would not survive. So there's that. But yeah, we actually do a podcast with him for Fenerbahce after every match and stuff like that. But he's going to be joining us over here. So the funny thing is, when we do that show, I get stuck sometimes finding Turkish sayings, like, or the direct translation of a word and stuff like that. So he kind of helps me out on air sometimes when I'm like, how do you guys say, like, I'm a tourist? So I'm thinking it's going to be the same way around. I'm going to do the same thing for English for him over here. But yeah, do tune in for that. We'll have more news coming out. Obviously, more news coming out on the fundraiser as well in the next few days over here. But have an excellent day, everybody. Do tune in tomorrow night to the Bolt Crew. I'm sure they'll talk a lot about Konate and how he should be punished and all that kind of stuff. So do tune in for that, but have an awesome day. Take care.